Do 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 do. I'm loving it. Nice. All right. Awesome. 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 Good. 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 All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. And it was another one of those grinders up today. Amazing. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great trading. Hoagies and grinders. Hoagies and grinders. Today, what was today's lunchtime food on the lunchtime video? Fried green tomatoes, just green and sizzly all the way up today, and quite delicious, right? So amazing moves today. So cool stuff, guys. We're having fun this week. We're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. This week we just kind of want to really hone into the SPX, right, and really kind of get into its Elliott Wave count. We talk about it a lot on our videos. Obviously, we put in our bubble report every morning, and we also talk about it intraday too, right? Because it helps us give get a good perspective on the market, right? Elliott Wave is not necessarily predictive. It can be sometimes, right? If all rules are complying at the same time, but a lot of times it just gives us context, right? And it also gives us interesting levels to potentially trade against, especially if price action starts to pick up, right? So that can help too. So anyway, guys, so today is what happens if we get an ABC correction. Right, so what happens? What is that? What is going on with that? So anyway, but before we get started, guys, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only, and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. So what we're going to do is basically we're just going to do a quick glance at the SPX charts, and we'll get a little bit deeper into it in a little bit, and then we'll take a look at the S&P futures, see what we're up to or down to here this evening, and then we'll go through the SPX. We'll get a little bit deeper into what happens if we get an ABC correction, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, guys. So SPX, everybody, up 19 points today. I mean, you can't really say that, hey, it wasn't a bullish day today, right? So monthly chart still green, right? We talked about this last week, how important it is to understand these charts and sectors, right? So weekly chart got off to a good start right here, and look at that McClellan oscillator back up to 40, right? Not even anywhere close to crash territory, right? As we continue to grind our way up, right? So basically, what it say, and it's so funny, you look at these, if you look for bearish divergences to try to get short in the market on the weekly chart, it's not a horrible idea, right? But it just is not. There's divergence. It's like it wears you out after a while, right? So let's see. Let's wait until we at least close above the upper Bollinger Band, like to say like, hey, it's getting a little bit extended right here. But in the meantime, it's just riding that upper band up, right? So it's just bullish, right? And so what's interesting, right, is this week is another holiday week, right? So we've got Labor Day weekend coming up this weekend. Monday is a day off, so this week is a full week, but expecting some chop. Right, so if you guys remember the chop, into Memorial Day weekend and all this stuff right here. I mean, it was great for premium selling, right? But it was really, really tough to get a directional move. Right, there's a couple little dips in there, and that was about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, maybe a little pullback or like the 80 may kind of catching up to price right here and just kind of rides it up, this real choppy ride up right here into this weekend, possibly in the next week too, because it's a short week next week, right? So we're expecting lower volume next week. We could get a little activity, but that's 2 weeks of chop. Right, and then after that, right, traders start to come back a little bit, and then before you know it, it's Fed day again, right? So we got that going on, and then things could get wild again, right? So it's pretty cool stuff there. So as we head into the final month of the quarter, final days of this month. So other things too to consider that have been happening too is it's the end of the month, right? So there's some institutions like to do the window dressing, like mark things up. I think there's some pretty obvious ones today, like Apple, right, with fresh all-time highs today, just kind of starting, just basically bidding that one up too. Amazon, to say that, hey, I was involved in that dip buy, right, that type of thing, right? So you kind of saw those type of names playing out today, which were kind of interesting. So SPX, guys, over the 80 EMA, generally bullish, looking for chop, but we'll see. I'm not going to jump right into the Elliott Wave count just yet. I'm going to go ahead and jump forward to the S&P futures and just see what we're up to or down to here this evening and see what might be setting up going into tomorrow. So basically what we're looking at here, right, is we had a really choppy day today, but we got nice volume at the close, right? This inspired us to actually get short at the close. You guys see I posted there, we got 100% trade off of this one on the downside, but look at the volume, right? Do we want to really kind of get short in here on this kind of low volume? No. Do we want to do it when you triple the volume? Yeah, we start to get involved there, right? And then quadruple it? Yeah, exactly. And then double it again? Yeah, we like to be involved involved with volume, right? We like to ride waves, like real waves, right? You guys have been to the ocean and been swimming before, right? You know what it's like, right? Nobody likes to jump on a wave that's just kind of blah, right? You like those big ones that come through, you're gonna ride it and have fun with it, right? So that's kind of the idea, right? So anyway, so right now, I mean, basically we're just kind of chopping again here going into tomorrow. So again, kind of generally expecting that. But what I would do here is just kind of keep an eye on this geometric line going into tonight, see if we could break above it, right? If so, great. If not, right, we'll see, you know, what happens from there. So this was a old geometric line that we held going into today. So we could actually stretch this one out to here to kind of make a larger triangle potential, right? And then from here, you can kind of stretch this one out and be like, all right, well, let's see. Now it's kind of got that barracuda look to it, right? So see how these levels hold going into tonight and where we go from there. So cool stuff. So what happens if we get an ABC correction? Well, what's an ABC correction? Well, anybody who's joining us here and hasn't learned Elliott Wave yet, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our playlists where we've every weekend, Paul, Algo382, and I go through Elliott Wave. We got so much good content on that one. We also have Elliott Wave series that we've done, things like that. But the basics of Elliott Wave, guys: 5 waves up, 3 waves down, right? So 1, 2, first rule, wave 2 never goes past the start of wave 1. 3, next rule, wave 3 is never the shortest wave, right? 4, third rule, wave 4 never goes past the end of wave 1. And those are the only rules. Those are the 3 rules. Everything else is just a guideline, right? So as long as you meet all those 3 rules, right, then you have an Elliott Wave, right? And so there's very simply labeled a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here's the mind blower right here, right? Each impulsive wave, this is called an impulsive wave, and it's made up of 3 impulsive waves, waves 1, 3, and 5, or motive waves, right? So each impulsive wave is also made up of 5 waves. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 1, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 3, and there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 5. Okay? So what is wave 2 and 4? These are corrective waves. Okay, so corrective waves. All corrective waves are ABC corrections, right? Or triangles. Okay, so those are your corrective waves. And there's different types of corrective wave, right? There's triangles, right, which are A, B, C, D, E. There's a flat, which is a 3, 3, 5, and there's a zigzag, which is a 5, 3, 5. And then of course there's some complex corrections, right? The WXY, which we talked about just a couple of weeks ago, right? So those are 3, 3, 3s, and usually lead to some sort of like more extended kind of correction, right? So you get kind of this double double movement to it. But ultimately that's it, guys. So an ABC correction is either a wave 2 or wave 4 pullback, right? So now let's take a look at the Elliott wave count on the SPX and kind of see how things are going right here. Let's make sure I've got that pulled up for you guys. So good. So SPX here, guys. Let's go to the 1 hour chart, right? Because this is what we like to track. Why do we track the 1 hour chart? Well, it just gives us enough of a bigger perspective. You can still go to the lower time frames and get really nitty gritty into it, right? You can be like, okay, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, truncated 5, right? There's my wave 5 up. Here's kind of my A, B, C correction, right? So you can kind of get to those in the smaller time frames. But we like the hour chart because it does give us a kind of like a nice big grip of just kind of digging into that daily chart and looking at the internals of it and being like, okay, this is what's happening, right? So we left last week. We left last week on kind of an interesting note, right? We left it on an up note, right? So we had this ABC pullback going into it, right? So with this ABC move down, and then we had this big push on Friday, which kind of made that ABC go away, right? Because it already took away the top of this, right? It wasn't going to be an expanded flat. It wasn't going to go. So at that point here, we were asking ourselves, okay, is this thing ready to pull back? Is that the end of wave 5, right? Because you can count 5 waves in this wave, right? You can count this 1, right? 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and we thought maybe wave 5 might be finishing up in here. Now, can you count wave 5s in here? Yeah, if you go to the smaller time frames, you could probably kind of dig in there and get it, right? But now the real question is, where is this wave 5 going to end, right? This is a sub wave 5. We're looking to see if this part of a, how many waves are left with potentially a larger wave 5 that we've been tracking here since the lows, right? Here's your wave 3, right? We think that this is this was the wave 4, right? And this is kind of like your wave 5 up right now, right? So we're kind of just really tracking this right now. So this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this looks like kind of like a little wave 5, and this could be just wave 1 of 5. We just have to see how it goes. But really, it's a very, very important area, right? We've got over 4,500 in the market, right? 4,500 is kind of like becoming the new normal. I know, a year ago, it didn't even seem possible that we'd get over 4,400, which is my initial target. we got there, and we've been talking about that in our weekly newsletter for a while. Now that we're over that and we're over 4,500, it's like trying to establish itself, right? Because that's a very nice whole number right there. So it's trying to like kind of build ground. So it is very possible that it might want to come back and test that level, right? And so at this point now we can really count a wave up, right? We can really count this up, right? We can kind of count this ABC. We can kind of look at 1, 2, right? 3, 4, even a truncated 5. And here we got multiple waves. We can count 5 waves out of this wave right here. And so we really want to see what happens if we get an ABC pullback. And is it starting here with that kind of high volume drop into the end of the day? So are we going to see an A, B, C type move, right? So that's really the question. And what type of structure is it going to be, right? Is it going to be a zigzag, right? We're going to see a sharp move down tomorrow, a 3-wave move up and then another sharp move down, or we're just going to kind of see like a just kind of choppy wave A, choppy wave B, and then maybe a sharp wave C, right? We don't know, right? We were actually this was a nice sharp wave A right here, kind of a choppy wave B. We were expecting a real nice impulsive wave down maybe to fill this gap. Never happened, right? So you still got to respect price. So Elliott Wave is cool, it gives you a lot of good estimates, right? And it gives you a nice structure and it gives you some context to deal with, but it's not always perfectly predictive, right? And so that's really kind of the big takeaway, right? So what happens if, right, we get an ABC? So, well, if it's just a correction off of this wave, right, then we would just kind of go up here and be like, okay, well, how does it handle the 618, right? If this wave is complete, right, then we'd want to see, really how deep it can go, right? So if it does, it can move all the way back to the 618 here as well, depending on, if we're in this larger wave 5 or not, and if it's done. So we really kind of need to keep track of it and keep track of this price action and see what happens. So it could be just as simple as like a little bit of a corrective move like we saw last week, or it could turn into a much bigger move. So we really have to pay attention to the price action, but we have to be aware of it, right? Because we had this ABC pullback here, A, B, C, that was huge, right? That almost took out almost an entire wave right there. It ended up turning into a full wave 4, right? Before it started this wave up. So my guess though is that this is kind of like a wave 1 of 5, right? And we could be looking at a wave 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of a move down, like a little bit bigger, maybe the 382, which is rare for a wave 2. 618 is very common for a wave 2 pullback. So we could see that. We just have to look at the price action and see how it goes. So it's hard to be in panic mode when we see that. It's hard not to be in panic mode because everybody's worried about all-time highs, right? They see the VIX going up, things like that. But let's just track it and see where it goes and see where that ends up here for us this week, okay? So we're going to be tracking this throughout the week, and we're going to have fun with it. Anyway, guys, hope you found that helpful. At this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we will get through as many as we can, try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff, guys. We got a few coming in. Shirley just sent me a couple names in here. A lot of them are like penny names. I'll take a look at these two. There we go. I'll take a look at those on those. The rest are just penny stocks. So let's take a look here. We'll get these posted from Shirley, who sent these in from email here, just a little late, but we got a couple in there. So good stuff. All right. So Reed, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Great. Yeah. So hoagies and grinders, exactly. But we like it, right? We love the grinders. We're okay with that. So good stuff there. Angela, what's going on? Good evening. So Zumba, guys. Glad you asked. So Zumba got crushed tonight. Woo! Got crushed tonight here off of earnings. It actually had pretty good earnings, right? I guess their outlook not so good, right? So for whatever reason, the algos didn't like it. So it's at 305 right now. In the 311 area, it was looking interesting because we had an open gap down here, but now it's at like 305, right? So this is a very tricky area for Zoom. Right, so let's keep an eye on this and see how it goes tomorrow. Your next level down, your next major level of potential support is like 300, right? And then from there, right, then we got these other levels down here, 275, right? So that's kind of a nasty drop here on this one. And let's see, right? So we weren't expecting that much of a move. Market maker expected move was only 28 points, and it's already dropped like almost 40. In fact, over 40 points. That's huge, right? And so we need to see if they try to buy this dip or not. I mean, like I said, earnings were not bad. So we just kind of need to see how that holds up. But we'll take a look at it the morning and see what we got and see what kind of levels we get in the morning and where we go from there. Likely going to make the bubble report in the morning, so good find on that one. And then Angela, yeah, Elsid, nice one on this one here too. This was actually pointed out in our Elliott Wave group today, thanks to Paul. Found a really nice dip buy opportunity in this one, and then they crushed it today on that. So yeah, so looking pretty interesting there. A little bit down after hours, but a nice start to it with a lower shadow, even though it's below its 200-day moving average. So good stuff there. Otas, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look. You got AMD on the radar still. So AMD kind of doing it, right? Gave a nice gap, nice push, and then kind of back in with that shooting star. So kind of ran out of energy, but looking okay. PLTR, again, same thing. Big upper shadow today, kind of ran out of steam. Disney could be interesting. Potential doji sandwich going into tomorrow. So keep an eye on it. See if we can break out over today's highs. And then pins ran out of steam back to the 80 EMA. Hope you had a great trading day too, Otas. Thanks so much. Armando, happy Monday. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Tesla. So Tesla looks pretty strong here today, guys. Breakout day on Tesla. Inside day up. We pointed this out a couple times during the day today for our group. We showed here intraday, right? The first triangle breakout here today gave us a nice move. And then notice how it gave another geometric breakout after the triangle breakout. And if we stretch that geometric line out right here, it held as support, guys. These are the geos that we talked about not too long ago, right? And then we had one more geo right here that you combine geos, you start to get shapes. You get a falling wedge right here. And that gave you your breakout into the end of the day with a little bit of increased volume through there, right? And then it just popped after hours, right? So again, beautiful candle today on Tesla. I like how it closed and cleared above this level right here. It's working its way into this gap. Let's see if we can fill that gap today. And it could be very, very interesting. Nice find on Tesla. As for Snow, let's take a look at Snow. Snow gave a good dip by today, guys. Back off the AMA, filled the gap and bounced, right? So nice move there. And then LRCX. Potential doji sandwich on that one too, so looking pretty good. Muku, what's going on? Going to see a VYGR, Voyager Therapeutics. Yeah, nice push there today, but a big rejection off the 50-day moving average and back to the 80 MA. So it looks like a potential chopper. This looks like Voyager Therapeutics, not digital. So not sure what that is. So Voyager Digital, that's VYGFF. It looks like. And that's getting really, really tight in here too. It's kind of scrunched between all its moving average here. So you can just see the moving average themselves are making it look like a triangle. So pretty cool stuff there. And Shirley sent a few in here via email. Let's take a look here. So we got DQ. I always think it's Dairy Queen, but who loves Dairy Queen? Who doesn't love Dairy Queen? I mean, who doesn't want to dip chocolate cone with sprinkles on? I'm serious. And some French fries, right? And chicken nuggets. Let's go. Anyway, so DQ. So nice put. Good day today. Strong day today. Increased volume here over the 50-day moving average. And then BGFV. The other ones were penny stocks, surely, so I'm not even going to mess with it. But Big Five Sporting Goods, I mean, yeah, kind of a kind of low floatish type name. Just be careful of your ex-dividend right there, but a nice candle today, so good find on that one. And CJ, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at DKNG. Let's take a look. DKNG, yeah, getting really, really tight here again, guys. Had a huge move recently, right? I mean, this was your breakout candle right here. Cleared a bunch of major levels. Got to the next level, blew through that one, and now it's just kind of like taking a rest, right? So inside day, and just let's see how it handles that inside day range. So good stuff there. Brett, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, took a full weekend off, including Sunday night. So I really needed it. Just get a little bit of extra rest. Went out to the beach with the family and just kind of relaxed and got some restful rest, right? So that was nice. And it's always fun to come back with a fresh perspective. And I think that's kind of what we're doing this week is we're just kind of focused on this SPX, get everybody kind of in tune with the market, especially, during kind of this the pre-vacation week too. I think it could be pretty interesting. But yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. We'll see everybody here bright and early tomorrow morning on YouTube for the Good Morning Market Prep video. We'll get a little update on there on SPX in the morning. And of course, anybody who's in our group, we'll see you guys in the bubble report tomorrow and tune in the Discord. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Stay healthy out there and remember your risk for